Good afternoon. Welcome to Honors Convocation. We're all very, very grateful that you're here today. This is a very busy time on campus, and so we're glad that you're able to make time. Next week is the last week of classes, and then today, of course, we had the rain, which made getting here a little bit more difficult. But inside this room, it's absolutely sunny because we have the pleasure of recognizing the outstanding achievements of 142 of our very best students. I want to thank their family members and friends for their long and steady support, as well as the work of my faculty colleagues, department heads, and program chairs in bringing our awardees to this point of recognition. Students were brimming with pride at your accomplishments, and we can't wait to see you up here on this stage to receive your awards. As the stage party was processing in, we heard lovely organ music, which was performed by Sean Goff. Sean is up there. If you could all give him a warm round of applause. Sean is a 2009 Lafayette grad and an adjunct piano instructor. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce the stage party. Our stage party in order of seating, from my right, your left, is Allison Byerly, president of the college. Amy Stoles, our guest speaker and a member of the class of 1987. Jim Schaefer, chair of the Academic Progress Committee and professor of chemical engineering. Toby Rossman, assistant professor of chemical engineering. Tony Cummings, professor of music, and John Meyer, dean of the faculty. And now I would like to invite Professor Schaefer to the podium.
Good afternoon. I'd like to add my welcome to that of Provost Risby. This is a great day. I know that the family members and friends of our award recipients are excited to be here. Speaking for all the faculty members in the audience, so are we. It's a thrill for us to listen to the wonderful stories we will hear about the amazing accomplishments of this incredibly diverse group of students. Like most of you, we each know some of these students personally, and we will take great pride in celebrating their success. But to me, the best part of the day is simply sitting back and enjoying the inspiring stories of other students whom I know only via reputation. By the end of the day, I guarantee that each of us is going to wish that we knew each of them just a little bit better. Together, we will hear tales of an art and engineering double major who was the essence of casual intensity, a researcher in microfluidics who was also an academic All-American in track and field, a winner of the Parents' Choice Gold Award for her novel, Palms to the Ground. Go, Amy. A student with 3+ years of chemistry research experience who teaches swing dancing in her spare time, a poet whose work is filled with verbal mischief, an artist described as the epitome of subversive, one of 12 students nationwide to win a Beinecke Scholarship, currently deciding between graduate work at Cambridge or Oxford. I didn't have to make that choice. One of the most talented, engaged music students to come along in a generation, and a student who pleasure reads Cicero in Latin. Wow. It's going to be great. Get ready to go. And now I'd like to invite President Byerly to the podium.
Good afternoon. It is indeed a pleasure to take part in this special event, which many faculty and staff look forward to as starting a whole season of celebration as we head towards commencement in just a few weeks. The importance of this event to the Lafayette community is evident in the large turnout this afternoon. I'm not sure there's a free seat anywhere. And it, I think, is emblematic of the high value that we place on academic achievement at the college. There are lots of ways in which students distinguish themselves at Lafayette, but some of them are more visible than others. A winning play in an athletic competition or a starring role in a theatrical production, these are accomplishments that are seen and celebrated at the moment that they occur. The hard work of scholarship, on the other hand, often takes place privately, in laboratories, in Skillman, through conversation in faculty offices, or late at night in front of a computer in a Copian. It's a special pleasure, therefore, to have the opportunity to publicly acknowledge and celebrate the academic accomplishment of these impressive students. Today's award winners have earned this recognition through energy and dedication, through your passion for learning and your determination to benefit as fully as possible from the remarkable academic opportunities that Lafayette offers. The breadth of these opportunities is evident in the range of prizes that you'll hear awarded to here today, which recognize general accomplishment in fields and disciplines like biology, music, and Africana studies, particular skills like oratory, community engagement, or leadership, or outstanding work in specific areas like analytic chemistry, Holocaust studies, or the writing of poetry. We'll also learn something today about the breadth of accomplishment of the students gathered here who've excelled in myriad ways and brought so much talent and energy to our campus. Some of you are not yet done your Lafayette journey and will no doubt build on the strong foundation you've already established. For seniors, this moment is an opportunity for your professors and mentors to recognize all that you've accomplished and for you to reflect on how those accomplishments prepare you for the future. In some cases, you may have already mapped out a direct line from your work here to graduate study in your chosen field or to a job that directly relates to your area of study. For many of you, the specific area of excellence for which you're honored today may not represent a direct pathway to a career. Nevertheless, I can promise you that these accomplishments will prove both relevant and useful. The mastery you've established in your chosen field prepares you for mastery of other information, topics, or fields. Whatever you've excelled at here, you've demonstrated a capacity to learn, grow, build upon your knowledge, and achieve a high level of accomplishment. Those skills will be with you for a lifetime, and will be valuable in whatever endeavors you undertake. I share the pride that your families and your professors feel in your success, and I'm pleased that I have the opportunity to congratulate each of you during today's ceremony. Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Amy Stoles, class of '87. Thank you. Amy Stoles has had a distinguished career whose roots can be seen in her time at Lafayette. At Lafayette, Amy was an English major, a writer for the Lafayette, and editor of the Marquis Literary Magazine. Today, she is Director of Literature at the National Endowment for the Arts. She oversees a portfolio that includes grants to organizations for projects such as the publication of books in literary journals, writing workshops and reading stories, fellowships to individual poets, writers, and translators, Poetry Out Loud, a program that engages high school students nationwide in the public recitation of poetry, and the NEA Big Read, a national initiative that supports community-wide reading programs around the country surrounding a single book. Amy's been a public speaker on the topic of literature at conferences and festivals around the country and abroad. She's the author of the novel Palms to the Ground, winner of the 2005 Parents' Choice Gold Award, and the novel The Ninth Wife, as well as numerous personal and literature-related essays. Earlier in her career, she was an environmental journalist who gained international recognition for her coverage of the Exxon Valdez oil spill. She has an MFA in creative writing from American University, where she's taught courses on contemporary literature. We are delighted to welcome Amy Stoles back to Lafayette.
Thank you, President Byerly and Provost Rizvi and Professor Schaefer and the Academic Progress Committee for inviting me back to speak today. It's an honor to be here. 4 days ago, I was addressing an audience very similar to you. It was a congressional luncheon on Capitol Hill celebrating Poetry Out Loud, a program co-sponsored by the agency I work for, the National Endowment for the Arts, in which thousands of high school students across the country compete in the art of reciting poetry, as President Byerly said, and hope to win the national championship. And the audience was made up of smart, talented champions, one from each state, along with their teachers, parents, and supporters of the program. I told my son about those students, how articulate they were, how they looked you in the eyes when they spoke, and spoke with such eloquence and poise. Then I told him I was coming here to speak to many more talented, inspiring young students who have worked hard to be the best they can be at what interests them most. I said maybe he could learn something from them, from you. Mama, he said, from now on, I'm going to call you Butt Cheeks. So he's 7. If you're a parent of one of these fine honorees today, I'd welcome any advice you have on how I can transition from that to this. So more on Butt Cheeks in a bit. But first, let me say, congratulations, truly. I looked at the list of awards you've earned in a wide variety of fields and was mighty impressed. I know well that warm, expansive pride your parents and your teachers and even the funders in this room are feeling right now. We nudge you in the right direction and then watch as you, in your own unique ways, gain speed and take flight, rewarding our tiny efforts tenfold. But I also know that delicious pride you yourselves are feeling at being recognized and praised, like a little voice inside yelling, yes. At least I hope you're feeling it. Some say pride is a sin, but I don't think so, not when it's well-deserved and genuine, and especially not if you can celebrate others' achievements as much as you celebrate your own, which I hope you do. So I don't always feel comfortable talking about myself, but I was invited here today to be inspirational, so it would be hard to do that without offering some context. I began my studies here at Lafayette as a computer science major. I was one of a handful of students who was accepted into a new program to learn about this then developing new field, and within 6 months I was proving to be really good at nothing. Not a whole lot, until I took an English class. I pursued computer science initially in part because it seemed more practical with higher paying and more secure job prospects, as an old argument against a career in the arts goes. I hope I stand here as a testament to the contrary and a reminder that there are other reasons to pursue a profession, if you're lucky enough, of course, to have a choice of professions as we are. Still, at the time I switched my major to English, it felt risky and unsettling. So after I graduated, I landed a few entry-level editorial jobs and worked my way up until I was hired to be editor-in-chief of an international newsletter about, and you heard this in my bio, oil spills, which I also absolutely knew nothing about. I remember sitting in my first staff meeting and looking around at all the other editors thinking, I can't do this. Why do they think I can do this? But then I just did, I suppose, the best way I knew how, mistakes and all. I wrote about spills over 10,000 gallons, and I had a new one to write about every week. Still, these spills never made the news, and no one in my life could really explain what I did or why, until 3 months into the job, the Exxon Valdez tanker ran aground in Alaska and spilled 11 million gallons of oil, and suddenly I was being quoted as an expert in newspapers and on radio and TV worldwide, all with really, really bad 1980s hairstyle. It's like, I was 23. I eventually did become the oil spill expert they all thought I was, merely by writing about that one topic for years, but I knew it wasn't for me. I was, by now, living in Seattle and thought the easiest way to escape my job was to quit outright and go back to graduate school for what I really wanted to do, write fiction. Not as a career, I never thought that could work, but just to write one book, see if I could do it, and then I thought I'd go back to journalism. Well, seeing my first novel in print was a very memorable yes moment. Honestly, I don't like writing as much as I like having written. The agent I signed with was new. The agent was new and just starting out, like me. And I knew of long-term author-agent relationships and envisioned that our careers together could blossom side by side until we were both famous. But as it happened, 2 months after she sold my manuscript, she told me she was getting out of the business to become a massage therapist. So I published my second novel 6 years after that with the help of another agent, and it's called The Ninth Wife and is about a woman who falls in love with a man she comes to find out has been married 8 times before. One of the best yes moments with this book was overhearing my husband tell his mom how much he liked it. He did ask me later why I didn't just go with 3 or 4 wives, as that would be more believable, and my answer at the time was, what fun is that? And then I thought, my husband thinks 4 wives is believable. So I don't have time to write fiction anymore in my current position at the NEA, but that's okay. Maybe later. For now, I get to talk about contemporary literature all the time, and often with distinguished writers. And I help readers connect with writers and books, and I get to dream up ways to make sure contemporary literature thrives in American society, which means, after all that time, I'm finally in a career that matches my skills and passion. And for that, I feel very lucky and very grateful. So you all have your own journey ahead of you career-wise, and far be it from me, as I stand here before you in this very flattering robe. For the record, I'm as slim and toned as I was when I attended school here. Just, for ex-boyfriends on video, hi. Far be it from me to try and sway you away from your long and short-term goals. On a recent family vacation, my son bet me $2 that he could keep this large orange balloon in the shape of an octopus intact through 4 days of chaotic urban travel. "Aw," people said, "look how sweet he is protecting his balloon friend," they said. And we landed in D.C., and the second I said, "You win the bet," he and his brother pulled off the eyes and arms and with unabashed glee kicked the floating head around baggage claim. So I may be in the arts, but I'm not unaware of other powerful motivators like making money. But here's the thing. Often, not always, but often, when you accomplish something and are praised for it, you feel validated. And when you feel validated, you feel good. And when you feel good and confident, you feel more generous and kinder to your fellow human beings, who in turn will be more inclined to be kind and generous and motivated to accomplish something. And in this way, you are perfectly positioned to improve living conditions, advance technology, protect the environment, help us understand our past and ourselves, know how to govern our present, heal the wounded, and take us safe and thriving into the next century, all the while acting as role models for future generations. No pressure. With utmost sincerity, I say, go forth, work hard in your chosen field, stay motivated, accomplish, succeed, put down your phone. You knew I was going to slip that in some point, right? Build your resume and show them you can do it, whoever them is to you. But in the meantime, while you're doing all that, I'd humbly like to suggest you keep a few things in mind, things that will not only help keep you sane and healthy and happy and true to yourself and your community, but will also help you achieve your goals, I think, as well. 1, embrace the unexpected, which is to say, stand tall, but be ready to bend, to pivot, to be light on your feet and dance a little. Don't be too rigid in your plans that you'll lose it if something goes awry, and don't just expect the unexpected when you can. Relish it. See it as a chance to rise to a new occasion. So I'll share one of my favorite publishing stories as an example. It's about Emily Schultz, a writer whose novel Joyland didn't sell in huge numbers until years after it came out, when she mysteriously started to receive large royalty checks, larger than she could have ever imagined. Turns out Stephen King's new novel at the time was called Joyland. And in a push to generate more income, his publisher released it first only in print. But some King fans didn't know that and purchased Emily's ebook thinking it was his. So rather than hide or get mired in feelings of inadequacy, Emily started a blog called Spending Stephen King's Money, posting photos of a new dresser she bought at IKEA, sort of thing. And when Stephen King found out about her blog, he tweeted, "Emily Schultz is my new hero." So my next novel is going to be called Harry Potter Eats, Prays, and Loves the Da Vinci Code and 50 Shades of Grey. 2, make time for silence. And I don't mean silence like a soundproof room silence. I mean solitude, away from your friends and the noise of your everyday life. Restorative boredom, I've heard some call it. While you're striving to be successful, to be the best, remember that it's also important to just be. I've had writing students go somewhere like a park or a train station alone, close their eyes, and start noticing what they hear, smell, what they feel on their skin, so they can make a scene come alive. Unless you think nourishing silence is just being idle, I'll mention George de Mestral, the Swiss engineer who invented Velcro. The idea came to him when he went for a hike in the Alps and noticed the way burrs stuck to the fabric of his clothes. I spent 5 days completely alone on top of a Blue Ridge mountain one summer to help with a crucial stage of writing my novel, and it saved me and my novel. 3, put the awe back in awesome and nourish your sense of wonder. So I'm as cynical as the next person, truly. And that's not a bad thing usually. A good college education will teach you to question what you read, what you hear, and what you think. Not with the intent of finding fault so much as seeking verification of facts and educated opinions. An important endeavor now more than ever, to be sure. But don't let cynicism deny you a sense of awe and wonder at the world. To get startled by something mysterious, odd, or incomprehensible is, as Albert Einstein said in 1931, quote, the most beautiful experience we can have. My advice, slow down, Stay present, be curious, stop and notice the unfamiliar amidst the familiar, that tree or building you pass by every time you walk to class but never really notice. When someone speaks to you, try and listen intently and sincerely. Read. Studies show that reading for pleasure reduces stress, heightens empathy, improves student test scores, and makes us more active and aware citizens. I had to throw that in there. Look for inspiration outside of your chosen field and remember what it's like to be a little kid. 4, seek out and support diversity. Diversity, inclusion, equality, fair practices, these aren't just buzzwords. They are crucial to the fabric of our society. Question norms and historical biases and notice, are there female friends in your field or life who are being harassed or worse? Is that professional group you were invited to be part of all white? Is the building where you're attending a concert accessible to persons with disabilities? Do your best to notice these things, and when you do, say something. Even if no one else does, be that person who says something. We as a community are best when individuals in our community are at their best. 5, know your emotional truth and find ways to express it. So my toast at my brother's wedding years ago began something like this. When we were in elementary school, I used to see my little brother get regularly beat up by a 5th grade bully until one day I wouldn't stand for it anymore, and I marched over to this kid, mid-bullying, turned him around and punched him in the jaw, yelling, "Don't ever touch my brother again." My brother, of course, was mortified that I said that, until I quickly shared that I made it all up, because I'm a fiction writer. That's what I do. The point was, I tell my brother I love him, but he rarely gives me an opportunity to demonstrate how much I love him for real. Thus, the power of fiction. Fiction can get to our emotional truth in a way nonfiction sometimes can't. So that's what I mean by knowing your emotional truth and finding a way to express it with words or without. When I knew I was coming here to speak, I sought advice from one of my college roommates, actually, whom I still count among my closest friends. And I asked, can I say butt cheeks in a chapel at a convocation? And she said, I said, I feel like I should quote a famous writer and sound profound. But that's not you, she said. You'll start your remarks with butt cheeks, and I'd bet money you'll find a way to end with butt cheeks, too. I'm so grateful for her friendship, and that's really my final bit of advice. Don't forget to be grateful. A few years ago, I was asked to speak to a group of about 15 poets and writers from Iran who were here through a program run by the State Department. I talked about the state of literature in our country and the challenges of getting published and finding audiences. And afterwards, I asked them what their biggest challenge was. Censorship, they said, and then they told horrifying stories of how their work or work of their friends had been forbidden or destroyed, their careers derailed, how they lived in fear of a worse fate. It was a good reminder not to take for granted our freedom to write. So I feel grateful that I'm here with all of you. I feel grateful that my parents worked hard as public school teachers to send me to Lafayette and supported me every step of the way. I feel grateful that my dad, who passed away almost to the day 1 year ago, knew that I had been invited here to speak, and that made him so proud, so happy. What a gift that invitation was last year. Thank you. And let us be grateful for this day, this rainy Cinco de Mayo, for this college, for our friends and family and teachers, for the opportunities afforded us and the chance to try and change what isn't working, for our accomplishments, for wonder and silent smartphones, for agents and massage therapists, for another episode tonight of Game of Thrones, for art and ideas and beauty in the world. May we carry with us for as long as we can this feeling of congratulations and celebration. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We ask you please hold your applause for all of our distinguished student awardees until the end of the ceremony. Africana Studies will be presented by Professor Wendy Wilson-Fall. The Africana Studies Scholastic Award is presented to Khadija Akeem. Khadija, an Africana Studies and History major, is a dedicated young scholar who is most likely going off to Columbia next year. We would like to recognize her dedication and commitment to Africana Studies. We know she will be a great advocate for the field. Gregory Charles Evans, a double major in Africana Studies and Government and Law, Charles will be an influential leader in his community and beyond. His sense of self, mission, and the importance of learning is evident. An international critical thinker, Charles is a mellow person who contributed much to the Lafayette community and will be missed. Amidio Hines. Amidio has a clear idea of what he wants to do and where he's going. He is a true scholar, someone who loves big questions, reading, and finding answers. We are proud of his honors work and wish him luck at Florida International University's graduate program in Africana Studies. Kokarli Nikoi. An original thinker, Kokarli's classes benefited from her unapologetic stance on difficult issues and her diplomatic, friendly, and inclusive communication style. A longtime international traveler, it will be interesting to see how she uses her Africana Studies, along with her transnational experience, to make her mark in the world. Joseph Verichetti. It is with great pleasure that the Africana Studies offers this award to Joseph Verichetti. Each year, we select a rising junior who has demonstrated serious engagement and consistent academic performance in the field of Africana Studies. We encourage him to continue his scholarly interest. Anthropology and Sociology will be presented by Professor Andrea Smith. The Paul Bernin Memorial Prize in Sociology is presented to Fiola Fair. Fiola is a scholar of social inequality who is an outstanding student, an actively engaged citizen, and a skilled leader both inside and outside the classroom. She is passionate about social policy, broadly construed, especially educational policy. We know she will make a real difference in the world. Art will be presented by Professor Ingrid Furness. The Frederick Knecht Detwiller Award Prize is presented to Taylor Kuyos. Taylor, a double major in art and English, is a multi-talented, infectiously enthusiastic person with a zest for learning. She is an award-winning photographer and a skilled and knowledgeable art historian. She plans to attend the University of Arizona, where she will pursue her Master's of Art in Art History. Lola Wegman. A student who is great at learning is a wonderful thing. Rarer and more wonderful is Lola, the student who, by the act of learning, returns the favor and teaches. We could never bake enough bread to repay all we have learned from Lola. Her impact on others' work, not to mention the maturity and strength of her own, is dramatic. She goes on this fall to a fellowship in Italy. The Thomas G. Yo Memorial Prize in Studio Art is presented to Megan Moriello. Megan represents the best of Lafayette's leading students. She is curious intellectually, hardworking, and precise in her academic studies, and active in progressive issues on campus. She has combined her interest in art, biology to create new art forms and synthetic models of human perceptual experience. Madeline Perlmutter. Maddie has a true spirit of an artist, a snide wisecracker, rebellious, and one always to take the road less traveled for an alternative solution. She is the epitome of subversive. Yet, she is a disciplined artist dedicated to her craft, demanding and determined. We watch with anticipation for what she will bring to the world in her ensuing years. The Vivian B. Noblet Prize in Studio Art is presented to Saida Ahmed. Saida first came to the art studio for a class about bread, and she leaves the studio a graduate with honors in studio art. This evolution, or revolution, occurred at the best pace, the pace of learning and growth. Her work is deeply personal and profoundly political, unsurprising since she is an art econ double major. We are awed by the artist Saida has become. Elijah Cooper. Eli is the essence of casual intensity. An art and engineering double major, Eli's demeanor appears easygoing while his creative work reveals energy and focus. The unifying factor is Eli's sense of humor, at once touching and biting. We do not know how long it will be before so brave an artist passes through the studio again. Paige Fenn. Paige combines her talents in studio art and the biological sciences to create imagery that brings alive new ways of seeing the process of art and nature. Working in multiple scales, she has advanced the growing art movement of intellectual unity in the new field of sci art. Biology will be presented by Professor Manuel Ospina Giraldo. The David M. Nalvin 1988 Prize is presented to Jane Brennan, who is in absentia. The Willis Roberts Hunt Biology Prize is presented to Nicholas Grahams. Nick is a first-generation college student with an extraordinary grade point average. His dedication to our biology program and his commitment to research are both unparalleled. After receiving acceptance letters from top graduate programs, Nick has agreed to join the University of Pennsylvania, where he was offered a full scholarship. Claudia Key. A biology major and a Chinese minor, Claudia served as a teaching assistant and is currently pursuing honors in biology. While at Lafayette, she secured external funding for her research projects, just one more accolade that predicts success when she begins a PhD at Utah State University in fall 2019. Chemical and biomolecular engineering will be presented by Professor Lauren Anderson. The American Institute of Chemical Engineers Donald F. Othmer Award is presented to Jody Graff, who is also the recipient of the Dr. E. L. McMillan K.K. Malhotra 1949 Prize. Hardworking, motivated, and inquisitive, Jody has achieved great success in both her coursework and scholarly pursuits. Her enthusiasm and dedication to her research project has led to a co-authored publication. After interning at Merck this summer, Jody will pursue honors thesis research next year. The American Institute of Chemists Award is presented to Emily Moore. Just a sampling of what Emily has accomplished at Lafayette: chemical engineering major with a stellar grade point average, captain of the cross-country team, researcher in microfluidics for Nokia Bell Labs, peer mentor and tutor, assistant athletic trainer, and academic All-American, and Maroon Club Scholar Athlete of the Year. Next step, ExxonMobil. The Carl J. Staska Prize is presented to Annika Fisk. Since her first semester at Lafayette, Annika has had an affinity for the lab. Since then, she has developed a skill set and a know-how that are evident not only in her work, but also in her mentoring of other students in and outside of the lab. The Charles Duncan Fraser Prize is presented to Brittany Dobson. Brittany is a smart, focused, and thoughtful researcher with a bright future ahead in research and development at Merck. Her conscientiousness, intellect, and contagious positivity have earned her respect and admiration from faculty, staff, and classmates. It has been a pleasure to work with such a talented individual. Edelie Hochwald Naumann. Edelie's high energy is seen in her passion, not only for her work, but also for horses, theater, and music. In the lab, she has developed procedures, techniques, and a skill set that will serve her well in graduate school next year, where she will utilize her abilities for environmental applications. The Donald U. Noblet Prize in Chemical Engineering is presented to Thomas Beyer. Thomas has approached every opportunity presented to him with earnestness, effort, and grace. His ability to take initiative to work through new and difficult systems while remaining grounded enough to rely on his advisors, instructors, and peers when needed is truly exceptional. The Dr. E. L. McMillan K.K. Malhotra 1949 Prize is presented to Camlyn Crowley. Enthusiastic, bright, and thoughtful, Cameron has conducted research as a Clare Boothe Luce and Excel Scholar, developing sustainable plastics, and will be embarking on an honors thesis this fall. She is inquisitive, passionate, and intelligent, and will no doubt be successful in whatever her future holds. The Lehigh Valley section of the American Chemical Society Award is presented to Ji Xiaohua. Sean, as he is known, pursued his interest in biomaterials through completion of the bioengineering minor and a successful research experience at the University of Georgia, where he worked to fabricate novel hydrogels for tissue engineering. He is currently finishing a related honors thesis project and will pursue a graduate degree in biomedical engineering. The Lehigh Valley section of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers Award is presented to Allie Board. A chemical engineering economics double major, Allie is an exceptionally dependable, conscientious, hardworking individual. Her work with the Chemical Engineering Student Group has been exemplary, leading and coordinating multiple events, including a mentoring program and an annual award symposium that brings many distinguished alumni back to campus. Pfizer awaits after graduation. Trent Eastman. A top chemical engineering student, Trent has also taken significant leadership roles in such diverse groups as Club Baseball, the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, and Delta Tau Delta Fraternity. A future Merck employee, Trent represents the best of Lafayette in his success both inside and outside of the classroom. The Lehigh Valley section of the American Society of Metals Award is presented to Sarah Burkert, who is in absentia because she is studying in Germany. James Hasty. Jimmy aced his introductory materials science course, a testament to his work ethic and intelligence. He will begin research in the area this summer. Jimmy is an outstanding student whose academic achievements, positive attitude, and concern for others are noteworthy. The Luther F. Whitmer Prize is presented to Zviko Borero Machikiti. If you hear music and singing from the lab, you know that Zviko is working hard. Over the last year, Zviko has developed a keen intuition as a researcher, an attribute that will surely serve him well as he pursues his doctoral studies next year.
Chemistry will be presented by Professor Kenneth Haug. The American Chemical Society Division of Environmental Chemistry Undergraduate Award in Environmental Chemistry is presented to Rachel Halapa. Rachel is a motivated researcher who has worked in Professor Galloway's atmospheric chemistry research laboratory for 2 years and has presented her work at 2 national conferences. Rachel's sense of humor and work ethic will be missed by her lab mates when she graduates this spring. The American Chemical Society Division of Inorganic Chemistry Undergraduate Award in Inorganic Chemistry is presented to Rachna Ball. Rachna has been studying Suzuki-Mayuara catalysts with bisphosphenoferrocene ligands. Pretty good for a music professor, huh? She has been relentless in trying to isolate an unknown intermediate she detected in this process. Her unbridled curiosity will serve her well as she begins a PhD program at the University of Cincinnati in the fall. The American Chemical Society Division of Organic Chemistry Undergraduate Award in Organic Chemistry is presented to Zaki Phelan, who's also the recipient of the American Institute of Chemists Award, Chemistry, and the William Forrest Hart Class of 27 Chemistry Prize. Zaki has co-authored an article in the journal Tetrahedron Letters, is a co-author on a second paper that has been submitted for publication, and will be co-author on a third paper to be submitted soon. He will be pursuing an industrial position after graduation. The American Chemical Society Division of Physical Chemistry Undergraduate Award in Physical Chemistry is presented to Shoyu Shu. Working on his Bachelor of Science degrees in Chemistry and Chemical Engineering means we are lucky enough to have Shoyu around for 1 more year. Although he only joined the Notaro lab in the fall of 2018, Shoyu has made excellent progress on a project examining palladium polymerization catalysts with bisphosphenoferrocene ligands. The American Chemical Society Division of Polymer Chemistry Award is presented to Sarah Blitz. Sarah is pursuing degrees in both biochemistry and neuroscience simultaneously and making it look easy. When she isn't destroying MCAT exams, she is doing neuroscience research in Professor Gable's laboratory and serving as a supplemental instructor for general chemistry. She plans to go to medical school after she graduates. The American Chemical Society Prize is presented to Andrea Killian. Andrea worked 3.5 years in the Heinz Laboratory with 2 publications, multiple national and local meeting presentations, and was named a Goldwater Scholar honorable mention. She teaches swing dancing and is an admissions superstar. Next up is a PhD in biochemistry at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The American Chemical Society Undergraduate Award in Analytical Chemistry is presented to McKenna Schimmel. McKenna has earned this award for her outstanding performance in analytical chemistry courses, as well as for her analytical chemical research involving the quantification of snail metabolites under the direction of Professors Sherma in chemistry and Fried in biology. McKenna will be attending medical school this fall. The American Institute of Chemists Award Biochemistry is presented to Scott Berger. Scott worked 3.5 years in the Heinz Laboratory with multiple publications forthcoming. He conducted biophysics research on campus and summer research at the University of Wisconsin. He masters all things robotic and computational, but swears, unconvincingly, that he is not a robot. Next is a PhD in biophysics at Stanford. The Carl J. Staska Prize is presented to Nicole Wamser. Nicole worked in the Notaro lab for 4 years. She examined gold compounds with bisphosphenoferrocene ligands as hydroamination catalysts. Nicole's presence in the lab was detected by the sound of Disney songs. She isn't sure what the future holds, but her intellect, lab skills, and dedication will lead to great things. The Chemical Rubber Company Freshman Achievement Award is presented to Anna Nolte. Anna has worked in the Heinz Laboratory in the chemistry department studying yeast prions for 1.5 years and is co-authoring a forthcoming manuscript. She loves to dance, particularly swing dancing, with other Heinz Lab members, and she likes to make our courses look easy. The J. Hunt Wilson Class of 1905 Prize in Analytical Chemistry is presented to Caitlin Wynn. Caitlin is a very talented student and researcher. She displays great attention to detail, a broad set of technical skills, and is willing to challenge herself and put in the effort to achieve outstanding results. Following graduation, Caitlin will be going on to medical school. The Royal Society of Chemistry Certificate of Excellence is presented to Jessica Ackendorf. Jessica is a dedicated student and researcher who performed research in Professor Galloway's atmospheric chemistry research lab for 2 years and is first author on a publication. Jessica spent last summer working in the vaccines unit of Takeda Pharmaceutical Company in Massachusetts. Last year, she also won the prestigious Goldwater Scholarship. The William Forrest Hart Class of 27 Chemistry Award is presented to Chinia Wen Huang. In addition to excelling in related coursework, he has conducted organic chemistry research since his sophomore year and has presented his work at both regional and national level conferences. He will be pursuing graduate study at the Johns Hopkins University. Civil and environmental engineering will be presented by Professor Mary Roth. The B. Vincent Viscomi Civil Engineering Student Prize is presented to Zachary Coleman, who is also the recipient of the Carol Phillips Bassett Prize and the Daniel P. O'Neill Memorial Prize. Through his hard work and steadfast dedication to improving every day, Zach has become a model undergraduate concrete researcher and problem solver. Zach masterfully navigated a busy senior year conducting honors thesis research and participating on the National Steel Bridge competition team, all while pursuing admission to top graduate programs. The Carol Phillips Bassett Prize is presented to Christopher Romano, who is also the recipient of the Lehigh Valley section of the American Society of Civil Engineers Outstanding Senior Award. Chris is exuberant, intelligent, and hardworking. Whether conducting Excel research, leading the American Society of Civil Engineers student chapter, or offering admissions tours, Chris spreads his enthusiasm for life, engineering, and all things Lafayette. Nicknamed the Mayor by his peers, Chris may just be the most sociable student in our department in recent years. Kara Rosenthal has been an exemplary civil engineering student from the time she arrived on campus, diving into upper-level courses her first year. She asks perceptive questions and is always prepared with thoughtful answers when queried. We will miss Kara's intellect, hard work ethic, and positive attitude. Carrie Schultheis. Carrie's ability to solve engineering problems is impeccable, but her ability to find engineering problems that no one knew existed are what make her extraordinary. Her work ethic is downright intimidating and is a substantial reason that Lafayette's Steel Bridge team is looking to repeat as national champions in June. The Russell C. Brinker Prize in Civil Engineering is presented to Rebecca Cook. Although Lafayette's National Steel Bridge team is normally composed of seniors, Becca was a junior when she was drafted by the team because of her extraordinary ability in the classroom. She has been an indispensable member of that team while also serving as a member of the American Society of Civil Engineers Executive Board. Computer science will be presented by Professor Chanwai Liu. The James P. Schwarr Prize is presented to Slim Holdabane. Slim has pursued the academic boundaries since his arrival at Lafayette. He has excelled, and this award will support efforts to challenge himself further. Economics will be presented by Professor James DeVault. The Department of Economics Award for Scholastic Excellence is presented to Michelle Foley. Michelle excelled in the classroom and beyond, beginning with Tech Clinic her first year, as a supplemental instructor for 2 semesters and a writing associate for 3, finishing with a joint math econ honors thesis. President of her sorority and its director of finance, Michelle will now head to Morgan Stanley. The J.H. Tarbell Award is presented to Anna Ivinsky. Anna's curiosity brought her to an investment club meeting during her first year. She then served as the club's co-president her junior and senior years. Anna will join Barclays Investment Bank upon her graduation. She has worked tirelessly helping others navigate the daunting Wall Street recruiting process and increasing the inclusivity of the investment club and the finance field. The John H. Allen Prize is presented to Trevor Goodwin, who is in absentia because he is studying in Nepal. The Pennsylvania Institute of Certified Public Accountants Award is presented to Andrew Chuma. Andrew is a talented and outstanding student athlete who hails from Connecticut. While at Lafayette, he pursued a wide range of academic opportunities, such as the Fed Challenge, the Technology Clinic, and tutoring for economics courses, all while completing 4 years of Division I football. He is set to begin his professional career in leverage finance at Citibank this summer. The Robert F. Hunsicker Educational Prize is presented to Sam McQuillan. Sam is easily among the very best student citizens I have collaborated with, the author of the citation writes, on projects over my 25 years as a professor. His special qualities include an ability to transform his intellect and learning into an enlightened civic citizenship, anchored in a moral imperative to contribute to just and inclusive economic development and expansive freedoms. Electrical and computer engineering will be presented by Professor Yi-Chung Yu. The Finley W. and Ethelwine H. Smith Electronic Engineering Prize is presented to Samuel Maura. Sam has excelled in academics while pursuing several different projects, including an honors thesis on performance evaluation of heterogeneous multiprocessors, a maze-running robot for an IEEE student competition, and a data acquisition system for the department's senior capstone project. He will be joining industry after graduation. The J.J. Ebers Memorial Award is presented to Catherine Lee. Katie is the Electrical and Computer Engineering Senior Design Project Leader. She has been the ideal engineer with strong analytical, software, and hardware skills. She is also a Lafayette Admissions Campus tour guide. She managed the last 4 years with tenacity, hard work, and a smile. The Lawrence J. Conover Class of 24 Electrical Engineering Prize is presented to Yuto Zhang. Yuto brings strong practical skills to his studies and has excelled both in research projects and as a technical leader in the senior capstone project. He is planning to attend graduate school next year. Engineering, Tau Beta Pi, will be presented by Rebecca Rosenbauer. The William G. McLean Tau Beta Pi Prize is presented to Gabrielle Kennard. Gabby is one of those rare individuals who possesses not only a formidable intellect, but also an inquisitive spirit and a brimming curiosity about the world around her. Her patience, warmth, and wonderful sense of humor continually brighten the lives of all those whose paths cross. Zev Granowitz. Zev is not here today because he is studying in Germany, but we happen to know that his father is in the audience, so we would like to read the statement written by one of his professors. From being on the winning team in the mechanical engineering dragster design race to serving as a board member and upcoming president of Hillel, Zev has excelled as a member of the Lafayette community. He is a self-employed computer technician and an elementary school tutor with a nearly perfect grade point average. Zev is very deserving of this award. Sasha Neef, who is also in absentia because she is also studying in Germany. Engineering studies will be presented by Professor Kristen Sanford Bernhardt. The Charles L. Best Memorial Prize in Engineering Studies is presented to Paige Farrell. Paige exemplifies the engineering studies ideal. She brings tremendous enthusiasm and joyful energy to learning and community building within the engineering studies program. She revels in making connections between disciplines, courses, and ideas, and through her honors thesis work, she demonstrated that she is also an exceptionally talented scholar.
English will be presented by Professor Christopher Phillips. The Class of 1883 prize is presented to Adele Conway. Adele's stories are hard to put down. They make your pulse race. You both do and do not want to turn the page to see what happens next. Some of her characters you would not want to meet in the halls of Pardee late at night. The Gilbert Prize is presented to Javante Anderson. Javante's blending of literary theory, poetics, and ethnography demonstrates the power of critical, interdisciplinary work at its best. His work pushes us to look for practices of freedom in the most unlikely places and look to the most marginalized and oppressed as its architects. It has been a true honor for us to have been part of his intellectual and artistic journey. Christina Keller. From starting an online magazine, to double majoring in English and psychology, to hiking the Andean highlands, Christina is everywhere at once, but her prize-winning fiction is focused, even quiet, in its attention to the details of everyday experience. Christina is a writer of rare sensitivity who enlivens our department. Trang Le. Trang has quickly distinguished herself as an English major, which she has just declared this semester. With a flair for flash fiction and skills in the digital study of immigrant poetry, she enhances every course and activity she joins. Casey Nevins. An enthusiastic reader and multi-talented writer, Casey is always up for a challenge. When she drops by your office for a chat, your day is instantly better. Jennifer Richardson, who is in absentia because she is studying in Ireland. Christopher Romano. Chris is the kind of student who makes his peers want to be more like him. His keen interdisciplinary intellect and impressive creativity are easy to admire, but just as important are his enthusiasm, his humility, his friendliness, and his willingness to be surprised. David Zahn. David is an exemplary student who brings to his writing imaginative and nuanced insights, vibrant wit, and an advanced ability to discover the more complex implications of texts. His work is characterized by a mature perspective and a willingness to experiment with and test new perspectives in original and memorable ways. The H. McKnight Black Poetry and Literature Prize is presented to Lucy Kahn. Lucy's poetry is dizzyingly inventive, brimming with wordplay, verbal mischief, and a wide imaginative scope. Her poems are comical, surprising, and wonderfully exuberant and vivid. The Jean Corey Poetry Prize is presented to Emily Lugos, who is in absentia. Environmental Science and Studies will be presented by Professor Drew Germanowski. The Excellence in Environmental Studies Award is presented to Jenna Ellis. Jenna is completing her dual honors thesis in environmental studies and economics. Her thesis addresses the valuation of environmental goods among outdoor recreationists in the Lehigh Valley. Jenna's enthusiasm and analytical thinking in class made her an outstanding contributor to the environmental studies major. The Germanowski Student Award in Earth and Environmental Science is presented to Emma Leeds. Inspirational, intelligent, creative, hardworking, caring, leader, engaged scholar, and citizen are all terms that define Emma. Her honors work has gained her national and international recognition. Emma has helped move campus sustainability issues forward and has connected with our Easton community in many ways. Emma is the ideal Lafayette student. Foreign languages and literatures. Spanish and Russian will be presented by Professor Michelle Jeffrin-Vinci. The Frank Klein Baker Spanish and Latin American Civilization Award is presented to Bianca Buchlers. Bianca has a special gift for teasing the finest subtleties from a poem, story, or novel, and then explaining them eloquently in Spanish. As if this weren't enough, the double major in Spanish and government and law also decodes the politics of Latin identity in the news media in English. The sky's the limit for this honors scholar. Laurel Rogers. Laurel is a passionate reader and writer about Spaniard and Latin American literatures and cultures. A recent study abroad in Cuba sparked Laurel's curiosity of the history of this nation. This semester, she is completing an independent study on the Cuban Revolution, demonstrating her willingness to explore other forms of government. Laurel's brilliance is to be a brave thinker. Henry Schweber. This semester, Henry is studying Don Quixote, which seems an appropriate way to end college, giving Henry's intellectual curiosity and delightful sense of humor. His classmates and professors are very fond of Henry and jokingly ask, "Is it true, Henry, that as captain of Lafayette's mock trial team, you originally thought it was called Mark Trial?" Shira Ween. Shira is a student capable of bringing the level of a whole class up several notches with her brilliant insights. She stands out for her intellectual maturity, provocative readings, and courage to critically debate and analyze structures of power, both in and outside the classroom. We are excited and sad to send her off to graduate school. The Rado Pribic Prize in Beginning Russian Language is presented to Michaela Hong. Michaela is a first-year student who will be a double major in international affairs and Russian East European studies. She hopes to go into nonprofit work involving social policy. This summer, she plans to intern at Global Minnesota as a first step on her path towards nonprofit work. Currently, she is involved with the Teens in the Community Club on campus, working with youth in the Easton schools. French will be presented by Professor Olga Duhl. The James Alexander Petrie Prize in French is presented to Evelyn Adams. An international affairs and French double major, Evelyn embodies the Lafayette ideal of a student with multidisciplinary interests who has a passion for learning languages and conducting research on social, political, gender, and cultural issues. A winner of an iWorld badge, recognizing the ability to apply language skills to global contexts, Evelyn plans to teach English in France. Mary Kors. Mary, a double major in psychology and French, is completing an honors thesis on cognitive psychology. She is an Excel scholar and is active in both the French National and the National Psychology Honor Societies. Ara Kasparian. Majoring in French and government and law, Ara is an engaged and exemplary student. Ara was on the dean's list every semester and additionally served as president of his fraternity. After graduation, Ara plans to test his French skills in Europe before returning to the United States to pursue a career in law. Samuel McQuillan. An economics and international affairs double major, Sam has been an outstanding student. He was one of 12 students nationally who won the prestigious Beinecke Scholarship last year. Besides his strong interest in social justice and entrepreneurship, Sam also excelled in advanced French classes. Congratulations on your remarkable skills and enthusiasm. Rebecca Webster. A geology and French double major, Becca balances academic excellence with community leadership, serving many campus-wide roles, including head resident and vice president of finance at her sorority. Becca excels in French and asks insightful, deep questions. Next, she is headed to Florida to work as a geospatial technician. Felicitations. Classics will be presented by Professor Marcus Dubichar. The George H. Catlin Prize is presented to Catherine Kelly. Catherine has thrown herself into studying the classical languages. She now pleasure reads Cicero in Latin and has mastered reading a Greek tragedy in the original. Catherine's profound knowledge of ancient rhetoric will serve her well as she aims to pursue a career in law. Xiao Xiao Ma, who is in absentia. German will be presented by Professor Uta Betre. The Edward R. MacDonald Prize is presented to Rabia Demirelli, who is in absentia because she is studying in Germany. The Rexroth Prize in German Culture Literature Studies Award is presented to Rachel Bird. Rachel is a brilliant thinker and writer. She has shown persistence in mastering the art of writing in German, and to the extent that her papers could be written by a German-speaking undergraduate student. Her questions have made us think in new directions, and her insights are always interesting and fascinating to listen to and think about. Leah Epstein. Leah is an incredibly driven, deeply thinking student of German whose interrogating texts take direction that are unique, brilliant, and highly original. Her written and spoken German is by now near native, and the multiple bonds she is creating to Germany and Austria are a delight for us to witness. The Rexroth Prize in German Language Studies Award is presented to Phuong Li. Phuong, who majors in international affairs, is also a linguistically gifted German minor. As a native of Vietnam, fluent in English, she is now conquering the German language and enriching every class with creativity and dedication. In addition, she tirelessly devotes her time through various interests and many volunteer activities. Nicolette Sonmez. Nicolette is a true liberal arts student pursuing a major in civil engineering and a minor in German. She is an open-minded, independent learner with a passion for German. Her intellectual curiosity, self-motivation, and positive personality make it truly a great pleasure to have her in class. The Rexroth Prize in German Outstanding Senior Award is presented to Daniel Willi. Daniel is an incredibly gifted creative writer, scholar, and thinker in the German language who engages in brilliant and insightful ways with diverse aspects and questions of Germanic culture. He thinks critically in philosophically complex ways about them, both in writing and in discussions. His work is truly exceptional. Geology and Environmental Geosciences will be presented by Professor Kira Lawrence. The Arthur Montgomery Geology Award is presented to Isabel Rhine. Belle is becoming an accomplished geologist, truly enjoying field experiences and problem solving. Her enthusiasm for the geological sciences is contagious. She is passionate about sharing her love of geology with others, having been a national park ranger and a geology instructor at the nature camp this summer. She is an exceptional representative for geology. The Guy and Joyce Hovis Geology Award is presented to Anna Golub. Anna loves gathering field geology data. She has done so in Wyoming, the Grand Canyon, Iceland, Colorado, and at sea. From the data, she makes creative, rigorous science, which she has presented at numerous professional conferences. Anna's not done, though. Soon she sets sail for the oceanographic research off the Chilean coast. The James L. Dyson Geology Award is presented to Kamal Bukwala. Kamal is an exceptional student, double majoring in geology and economics with a minor in classics. She is very impressively engaged extracurricularly as well, conducting Excel research on ancient climates and serving as a teaching assistant, tour guide, the director of orientation, and VP of the South Asian Student Association. Leah Steinman. Leah is intensely curious. She is observant, asks probing questions, and tackles big geologic questions with a blend of creativity and analytical reasoning. This summer, Leah will participate in a National Science Foundation research experiences for undergraduates at the American Museum of Natural History before completing an honors thesis investigating ancient supervolcano deposits next fall. The Ted and Georgia Metropolis Prize in Geology is presented to Brian Pink. In addition to strong coursework, Brian takes every opportunity to learn outside the classroom. Brian did Excel research on a dam removal project on the Bushkill Creek. He has participated in 3 geology interim session courses, has presented research results at 4 geological conferences, and is doing a senior honors thesis on the effects of lithology on drainage density. Government and Law will be presented by Professor Joshua Miller. The Eugene P. Chase Government Prize is presented to Princess Adeyinka, who is also the recipient of the Minerva and Emil V. Novak Prize in Government and Law. Princess is in absentia because she is studying in Senegal. The Minerva and Emil V. Novak Prize in Government and Law is presented to Julia Dash, who is in absentia because she is studying in Scotland. Reeve Lanigan, who is here, an intensely dedicated student. Reeve has been a role model for her classmates. Her joint thesis in Government and Law and Women's and Gender Studies on firearms and domestic violence, as well as her career that follows, will be path-breaking. A Division I swimmer, Reeve's many skills and mastery of time management establishes her as the dictionary definition of a student athlete. Daniel Markovitz. Daniel is an intellectually curious, bright, and hardworking. Perhaps more importantly, Daniel applies his political acumen to an impressive array of civic-minded activities. We are delighted to hear that Daniel's accomplishments are duly recognized as he continues to make his mark as an outstanding citizen scholar.
History will be presented by Professor Paul Barkley. The Class of 1910 Prize is presented to Kamini Masood. Congratulations, Kamini, on all the wonderful historical endeavors you have pursued while at Lafayette College. As the medieval mystic and poet Rumi said, "This place is a dream, only a sleeper considers it real. Then death comes like dawn, and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief." The Colonel Wilson B. Powell Class of 32 Award is presented to Gabrielle Trapp, who is in absentia because she is studying in Spain. The Ludwig and Beatrice B. Muehlfelder Prize is presented to Sydney Edelson. Sydney is an extraordinary student who combines the excellence of a scholar with the dedication and charisma of a mature social activist. Her work in Professor Wiener's Holocaust seminar was powerful. She has been an anti-racism activist, an exemplar of multicultural life at Lafayette, and a model for peers and faculty alike. International Affairs will be presented by Professor Angelica Van Waal. The International Affairs Hatfield Award for Global Scholarship is presented to Aileen Correa. Aileen is a gifted young scholar. Her sharp curiosity, intrepid research skills, and independent judgment are reflected in her groundbreaking honors thesis that applies theories of memory to her discovery of 5 sites of torture during the Dominican Trujillo regime. She is well respected by the Lafayette community for her academic and leadership abilities. The Rado Pribic Prize in International Affairs is presented to Sam McQuillan. We know that Sam is a graduating senior with a double major in International Affairs and Economics, who has earned a stellar grade point average. We also know that his scholarly achievements earned him a Beinecke Scholarship in 2018. What we can add is that Sam is currently deciding between graduate study in development economics at Oxford or Cambridge. We wish him the best for a splendid future in that field and everything he puts his mind toward. Mila Tanyalova. Mila is a gifted international student from Bulgaria who is graduating in International Affairs and Economics. She is currently finishing her double degree honors thesis entitled The Disuniting of Europe on the Recent Crises in the European Union. She has been accepted with a full 5-year scholarship to the PhD program in political science at the George Washington University. We wish her a bright future. Mathematics will be presented by Professor Sean Kimber. The Benjamin F. Barge Memorial Prize is presented to Elene Karangozishvili. Only a sophomore, Elene has become a leader in mathematical problem solving at Lafayette. She is a creative and talented student who excels in both problem solving competitions and in open-ended research. She plans to pursue a PhD in mathematics after graduation. Xinyao Lo. Bobby, as he is known, has performed at a consistently high level in problem-solving competitions during his first 2 years at Lafayette. He approaches hard problems with considerable creativity and the dogged persistence required to solve them. Denez Osby. Only a first-year student, Denez has already made her mark in the mathematics department by helping to create an engaging community for problem-solving. She intends to double major in mathematics and theater, and she plans to pursue a PhD in mathematics after graduation. The Gertrude M. Cox Statistics Award is presented to Catherine Haglish. Catherine has been an integral part of the mathematics spirit at Lafayette and is a promising talent in statistics. Her work with the Summer Research Experiences for Undergraduates project won an Excellence Award at the Joint Mathematics meetings. In addition, her positive attitude is infectious. The Professor James P. Crawford Prize is presented to Keith Vreeland, who is in absentia. The Wesley S. Mittman Prize is presented to Benjamin Aidenbaum. Ben has been a fixture in the mathematics department for the past 4 years and will be deeply missed by both faculty and his peers. He will enter a strong mathematics PhD program next fall where his curiosity, intellect, broad mathematical knowledge, and strong work ethic will serve him well. Mechanical engineering will be presented by Professor Tobias Rossman. The Carl G. Jr., class of 67, and Deborah B. Anderson, parent 2001, Mechanical Engineering Prize is presented to Kristen Cirincione. Kristen has demonstrated absolute mastery of all topics across the curriculum, but especially within mechanical engineering, earning a stellar overall grade point average. She has conducted research for the past year and a half on the mechanical characterization of brain tissue. Kristen will begin her career this summer at Raytheon. The Carl J. Ammerman Prize is presented to Spencer Folk. The best part of having Spencer as a student and working with him on research and design projects is the way he reacts to challenges. Spencer seems to view the ups and downs of solving difficult problems as exciting plot twists in a good story. This helps him maintain or even gain momentum when things get tough. Military science will be presented by Major John R. Abella. The American Legion General Military Excellence Award is presented to Bradley Au, who is in absentia. David Sedveri. David, who is also the recipient of the American Legion Scholastic Excellence Award. David is the #1 cadet in Lehigh's Army ROTC Steel Battalion and within the top 10% nationwide. David exemplifies true leadership, scholastic achievement, and extraordinary athleticism. As a distinguished military graduate and transformational leader, Dave commissions as a 2nd lieutenant in the Army Engineer Corps. His actions reflect great credit upon himself and Lafayette College. Harvey Situ. Harvey, who is also the recipient of the American Legion Scholastic Excellence Award and the Society of American Military Engineers Award. Harvey embodies what it means to be a scholar, athlete, and leader. As a future infantry officer, Harvey graduates with distinction as a distinguished military graduate, placing himself in the top 20% of all commissioning cadets in the nation. On the field and off the field, or in the jungles of Hawaii, Cadet Situ is a demonstrated quiet professional. The Lafayette College Leopard Award is presented to Nicholas Casiopo. Nicholas clearly demonstrates his leadership and potential on a daily basis. A scholar and athlete, Nick is a bright leader among his first-year cohort in the program's color guard. Nick has unlimited potential as a cadet and future Army officer in service to the nation. The Lafayette College President's Award is presented to Hannah Berline, who is in absentia. Trent Crossan, who is in absentia. Jordan Moscow. Cadet Moscow has demonstrated academic excellence and exceptional intellectual capacity as a student and cadet. Her determination and commitment to pre-med studies while participating in ROTC is a demanding feat that few can accomplish. Her commitment to this process is worthy of the highest accolades. Seth Rollins. Cadet Rollins is an outstanding student who is working toward his goal of completing his Bachelor of Arts degree in Government and Law. He is a phenomenal member of the Steel Battalion's ROTC program, always achieving the highest standards not only in ROTC, but also academically. His dedication is worthy of recognition. Music will be presented by Professor Larry Stockton. The John D. Raymond Music Award is presented to Rebecca Edelman. Becca is quite simply one of the most talented and engaged music students to come along in a generation. She has graced the college community with her musical performances and outstanding leadership. To say that we will miss her is an enormous understatement. Elias Muller. Elias came to Lafayette with a natural ability to connect emotionally with music. Throughout his 4 years, Elias grew as a musician in vocal pedagogy, technique, and performance as he learned to effectively communicate a story through song. He also developed into a leader with his understanding of commitment and teamwork, and he continues to grow. Neuroscience will be presented by Professor Lisa Gable. The William C. Rappold Class of '67 and Walter Oxley Class of '57 Neuroscience Prize is presented to Jafar Bhatti. Jafar is an exemplary academic and posse scholar who has also served as a resident advisor and a leader for Alternative Spring Break. He is completing an honors thesis and has conducted alumni-mentored research in the Republic of Panama. Following graduation, he will work at the National Institutes of Health before pursuing an MD, PhD degree. Elaine Huang. Elaine is a cheerful and energetic person. She shows extraordinary enthusiasm for exploring the breadth and depth of the field of neuroscience. For her honors thesis, Elaine has made considerable progress toward integrating neuroscience and bioinformatics to study stroke. Following graduation, Elaine will continue her scientific pursuits at the University of California, Los Angeles. Philosophy will be presented to two students, both in absentia, Connor Burwell and Ian Plamadala, both of whom win the Louise M. Olmsted Prize in Ethics. Physics will be presented by Professor David Nice. The Physics Department Scholastic Award is presented to Ethan Garvey. Ethan is an outstanding student. His academic performance, along with his enthusiasm for research, will undoubtedly lead to him becoming a successful physicist. At Lafayette, he has shown great capability for theoretical, computational, and experimental research in the seemingly disparate fields of particle and condensed matter physics. Psychology will be presented by Professor John Shaw. The Burton H. Cohen Memorial Prize is presented to Anna Levy. Anna is an exceptional student who conducted an honors thesis in psychology. She served as a psychology lab assistant, president of the Lafayette College Art Society, and as vice president of the Marquee Players. With her boundless energy and contagious enthusiasm, Anna has been an inspiration to her fellow students. Jane Zimnick. An outstanding student, Jane completed an independent study project examining challenges that individuals with hidden disabilities face when entering college and the workplace, and is completing an honors thesis examining discrimination against these individuals in hiring. Jane will be attending graduate school in speech-language pathology at Teachers College, Columbia University. The Herbert W. Rogers Psychology Prize is presented to Danielle Katz. An outstanding scholar and community citizen, Dania has served as a psychology lab assistant. As an Excel scholar, she has co-authored a journal article. In addition to holding numerous campus leadership positions, she has volunteered for organizations across the Lehigh Valley. Dania's intellect and compassion infuse everything she does. The Religious Studies Prize is awarded to a student who is in absentia, Victoria Puglia. Theater will be presented by Professor Mary Jo Lodge. The I. Clinton Klein Prize is presented to Juliana Holzman. Juliana is the jewels in the crown of the theater department. She has performed every function there is in theater, both on stage and off. President of Alpha Psi Omega, the Theater Honor Society, she reigns supreme on all of our stages. Matthew Peters. Matt represents the heart of our theater department. He's done everything, from page to stage, backstage to starring actor, from distributing posters to running the show for the National Theater Live. No role is too big or too small for Matt. The first Women and Gender Studies Award will be presented by Professor Mary Jo Lodge. The second prize will be presented by Professor Murray Armstrong. The Professor Mary A. Armstrong Award in LGBTQ+ Studies is presented to Jennifer Wellnitz. A computer science major, Jennifer has been an Excel scholar on the Queer Archives project for 2 years. She has made foundational contributions to the development and design of the Queer Archives digital humanities site, which will always bear the stamp of her tremendous intelligence, effort, and personal courage. The Professor Susan A. Bassow Prize is presented to Reeve Lanigan. Reeve is a scholar activist who represents the best of women's and gender studies. She has been a model of academic excellence and a force for meaningful change at Lafayette. She is a co-founder of PARDS Against Sexual Assault and soon heads to Scotland on a prestigious scholarship to earn a master's degree in criminal justice and penal change.
Our final prize category is for special awards. Erica D'Agostino, Dean of Advising, will present the Benjamin F. Barge Oratorical Prize to Jessica Ackendorf. Jessica has been on the mock trial team since her first year, serving as a captain during her senior year. In addition to her exceptional leadership skills, Jessica was an outstanding attorney, winning a Top Attorney Award at the opening round of the championship series. Henry Schweber. Henry has been a member of the mock trial team since his first year and a captain in his senior year. Henry was instrumental in the team's success this year. As the most experienced member of the team, he was an invaluable resource for new students and assisted them in advancing to the opening round of the championship series. Ann Houston, Dean of Libraries, will present the David Bishop Skillman 1913 Library Prize to Brittany Dobson. Brittany's exceptional attention to detail, technical abilities, and efficiency contributed to the completion of several significant projects in the library's special collections and college archives over the last 4 years. Her website redesign, digitization skills, and cataloging have made collections more user-friendly and discoverable to our researchers. Ben Gordon. Ben has been working in the library's Digital Scholarship Services unit, exploring the field of data science and the humanities with a text analysis project featuring oral history transcripts. Ben has built skills with R, a statistical computing language, and OpenRefine, software for cleaning and organizing databases. Arthur Kanai, Faculty Director of the Landis Center for Community Engagement, will present the next 3 awards. The Community-Based Learning and Research Prize is presented to Aileen Correa. Aileen is an active citizen, critical thinker, and talented scholar. Her passion for community and her thoughtful reflection allowed her to explore difficult questions throughout her research and service. Aileen has made significant contributions to community-based learning and research at Lafayette. She is most deserving of this recognition. The Eleanor Winkie Prize is presented to Justin Ungerleider. Justin's commitment to the community is apparent in his tireless efforts to recruit volunteers for events in the Easton area. Justin has displayed great professionalism, flexibility, responsiveness, and attention to detail in his leadership role through the Landis Center and has communicated diligently and effectively with our partners in the community. The Jeremy Sachs Award is presented to Elizabeth Passantino. Elizabeth has been a mentor and role model for local youth throughout her time at Lafayette. Her dedication and enthusiasm affected the lives of many children throughout Easton. Elizabeth's passion for community and her inspiration for both students and children alike make her the perfect student to honor Jeremy's legacy. Professor James DeVault will present the Eugene P. Chase Phi Beta Kappa Prize to Katoi Abe, who is in absentia because she is studying in Germany. Also, Jocelyn Brodfeur. Josie is a model student in every possible way. She is enthusiastic, participates actively in each course she takes, and is amongst the most committed students at Lafayette, as well as a high-achieving athlete. It is delightful to have her in class, especially in light of her tremendous motivation. Rachel Hayward, who is in absentia. Zhushan Jing, who is also in absentia. Heep Li, who is in absentia. Xungyao Lo, also goes by Bobby, who is a physics major with an interest in neuroscience. An enthusiastic and engaged student, he has earned superior grades across a range of challenging courses. This summer, he will undertake an Excel project on theoretical and computational aspects of the quest to understand the nature of dark matter. Xu Tsing Ma. Xu Tsing's ability to self-teach scientific concepts and programming allows her to excel in both laboratory and modeling-based work. Her raw talent, tenacity, and positivity make her a truly exceptional student scholar. Andrew McElroy. Drew has worked in the Heinz Laboratory studying yeast prions in the chemistry department for 1.5 years. He loves to swing dance, but his favorite style is freestyle animation. When he isn't dancing or doing research, he is busy doing everything else possible on campus except baking. Elizaveta Makarova, who is in absentia. Claire Mengel. Claire is an inveterate hard worker who strives and achieves excellence in all she does at Lafayette. She meets the high Phi Beta Kappa standards while also excelling in soccer. In class, Claire consistently displays deep dedication to learning by furthering her understanding, engaging in deep reflection of new ideas, both alone and in concert with her classmates. Anna Nolte. Anna arrived at Lafayette as an excellent writer and a creative problem solver, so it's no surprise that she won this award. She already has plans to pursue graduate work in molecular biology. Liv Palma. Liv is a Marquis Scholar, an accomplished student-athlete on the cross-country and track and field teams, and a biology major with a minor in mathematics and a stellar GPA. Inquisitive and thoughtful, it is always a pleasure to have Liv as a student in one's class. Victoria Puglia, who, if you're still scoring at home, is also in absentia, as she was before. Carolyn Sabin. Carolyn is an incredibly thoughtful and creative student. She is willing to go forth in depth over breadth and truly interrogate the underlying meaning that lurks behind the surface. This willingness to go for depth is a force to be reckoned with and will inevitably lead Caroline to changing the course of history. Georgia Salvatore. George is an exceptional student whose intelligence, motivation, and inquisitive mind are unparalleled. As a sophomore, she is already a critical thinker and gifted writer, but she continues to challenge herself to tackle an important question for an independent study, while simultaneously studying Chinese and Japanese languages. Callie Schmid. Callie is a neuroscience Spanish double major. She has worked as a writing associate and teaching assistant. Observing her in action, she is not only an exceptionally talented student, but also a naturally gifted teacher. Additionally, she is also a member of the choir and will be doing Excel Scholar research this summer. Siddharth Vijay, who is in absentia because he is studying in Spain. Leon Young. Leon has shown exemplary academic performance across all disciplines at Lafayette. His excellence in both science and engineering stems from his preparation, enthusiasm, hard work, and a gifted mind, a rare combination that will serve him far into the future. He is currently preparing for an internship this summer. Dennis Bond, men's head soccer coach, will present the James F. Bryant 1940 Excellence Award to Adam Branson. Adam is a true scholar athlete and an even better human being. He earned a stellar grade point average in the fall, is a leader in the athletic department, performs in theater productions, and is active in the community. What makes Adam truly special is that he not only looks at the world as it is, but also as it can be. John Squarcia, visiting instructor of education, will present the Lafayette alumni of the Lehigh Valley Scholarship Award to Zachary Coleman. Zachary is a civil engineering major completing an honors thesis. He was an Excel Scholar, secretary for the American Society of Civil Engineers, and is on the varsity fencing team. He is the founder and president of the Math, Engineering, and Science House, and as you might remember, Zachary plans to obtain a doctorate in engineering. Mary Kors. In addition to her double major and being in the process of completing her honors thesis, Mary is a leader in the concert choir, serves as treasurer of the Psychology Honor Society, and is president of the French Club. She plans to obtain a graduate degree in secondary education. Carrie Schulteis, a Marquis Scholar studying civil engineering. Carrie is a member of the team for the annual Lafayette Steel Bridge competition, a mentor at the Easton Area Community Center, and director of the children's program for the Steps for Stellar 5K race. Carrie has accepted a position at Titan Engineers. Nicole Stanton, a Marquis Scholar. Nicole majored in economics and English. She was president of her sorority, volunteered as a writing associate, and a multimodal specialist. She was involved in the Investment Club, the Women in Business Club, and the Marquis Scholar Advising Program. She has accepted a position at Citigroup. Claire Swanson, a Marquis Scholar. Claire is majoring in government and law. She is vice president of finance for her sorority, an admissions department ambassador, a supplemental instructor in microeconomics, a partner mentor, and a volunteer in the urban garden. She plans to obtain a master's degree in library and information sciences. Professor Joshua Miller will present the Paul Tully Memorial Prize to Daniel Markovitz. A native of Massachusetts and a government and law major, Daniel has a passion for the study and practice of politics. In the 2018 elections, he revived the Lafayette College Democrats and led their successful voter registration and Get Out the Vote campaigns. He truly embodies the spirit of Paul Tully's work. Caroline Schaefer. Caroline has worked to help others recognize the value of voting and the importance of political participation. Through her experiences campaigning for congressional candidates, presidential candidates, and the People's Climate March, she has organized and mobilized many while encouraging them to engage in our nation's political process. Dean Erica D'Agostino will present the next two awards. The Posse Leadership and Engagement Award is presented to Vanessa de la Rosa. Vanessa always makes a difference. She combines sophisticated leadership skills with ferocious intellectual courage and infinitely creative curiosity. Ask anyone. Vanessa has seized the best Lafayette has to offer, and she is the embodiment of Lafayette's mission, academically rigorous, socially entrepreneurial, and committed to global citizenship. Gregory Charles Evans. Charles is a leader, mentor, avid learner, and activist. Whether serving as president of the Association of Black Collegians, studying abroad in Morocco, or serving as a peer leader, Charles is fueled by passion, a commitment to excellence, and unbridled authenticity. There is no doubt Charles is leaving an indelible mark on Lafayette's campus for which we are truly grateful. The Professor Carolyn Van Dyke Prize is presented to Catherine Hill. Katie is an outstanding student with a self-designed major creating to lead her on an unconventional path to medical school. She is a dedicated community volunteer with a passion to serve others who, out on the tennis court, employs her ability to take advantage of coaching to sharpen her abilities to overcome her opponents. Professor Ken Hogg will present the Mark I. Koshar MD 1970 Award to McKenna Schimmel. A double major in neuroscience and biochemistry, McKenna is the epitome of the Koshar ideal. While working as a mentor for local organizations or engaging as a volunteer for the Lafayette's Best Buddies chapter, McKenna constantly acts on her commitment to help others. She possesses the ideal qualities of a physician: intelligence, compassion, and wisdom. Rochelle Kessler, the Director of International and Off-Campus Education, will present the final two prizes. The David A. Portlock Study Abroad Memorial Prize is presented to Elle Cox. Elle is currently a sophomore and rising junior. She is a student with a clear focus: art. Since coming to Lafayette, she has brought enthusiasm and commitment to her practice as an artist. She takes risks in her work, resulting in artworks that are provocative, exploring issues regarding race, gender, and sexuality. In her academic studies, she has been a voracious learner, absorbing the lessons and knowledge that influence her practice. The Study Abroad Good Citizenship Award is presented to Rebecca Cook. Through Lafayette's National Steel Bridge team is normally composed of seniors. Becca was drafted by the senior team as a junior due to her extraordinary ability in the classroom. She has been an indispensable member of that team while also serving as a member of the ASCE Executive Board. Stephanie Wagner. Stephanie made consistent contributions to the Madrid Study Abroad program. She immersed herself fully in a new culture, took advantage of every opportunity to learn, and added to everyone's study abroad's experience. Her actions and attitude represent the essence of being a good citizen. All right. Now, please join me in congratulating all of these outstanding students.
We are here today to celebrate Lafayette's recognition of its outstanding students. While these are Lafayette College Awards, we would also like to congratulate 8 students who have been recognized by prestigious national and international scholarships and fellowships as recipients, honorable mentions, or finalists. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing so that we can celebrate your accomplishments as a group. Sarah Blitz and Jody Graff are Goldwater Scholars awarded to sophomores and juniors planning a STEM research career. Jody is in absentia. Reeve Lanigan is a St. Andrews Society of the State of New York Macmillan Scholar for postgraduate study. She will be attending Strathclyde University in Glasgow, Scotland. She was also a Fulbright student grant alternate for postgraduate study at Maastricht University in the Netherlands. Fu Wang Li is a Public Policy and International Affairs Summer Institute Fellow. Students recognized as alternates, honorable mentions, or finalists include Evelyn Adams, a Fulbright student grant alternate to teach English in Luxembourg. Fayula Fair, a Fulbright student grant finalist to teach English in Kenya. Emma Leeds, a Fulbright student grant finalist to teach English in Uruguay. Sam McMillan, a finalist for a number of postgraduate scholarships for study, including the Rhodes, Marshall, Gates Cambridge, and Fulbright student grant. Please join me in recognizing these exceptional students. At This time, I would like to call your attention to the last page of your program, which contains a list of students who have been invited to join Phi Beta Kappa this spring, and members of Tau Beta Pi, the Engineering Honor Society. Will those students who are with us today please stand at your seats and be recognized? It is now my pleasure to invite Professor John Meyer, Dean of the Faculty, to the podium to give the closing remarks.
So my instructions, the main thing I remembered about this was they were said brief, italics, and underlined remarks. So just to prove it, I've only got one page. I won't. All right, so it has been an absolute treat for me. I know that Provost Risby at the start said that he was grateful for everyone coming today to hear a little bit about and celebrate the work that these tremendous students have done. I am tremendously grateful for having been part of this group as well. This has really just been humbling and really impressive to hear about all the things that have been accomplished. I'm going to speak directly to all the award winners now. You have definitely engaged in incredible work that has led to singular and distinctive achievement. That is absolutely something that should be celebrated. This is made possible by the talent that you have, the preparation and perseverance that you brought. And I'm also going to mention that it was also due in part to the support you've gotten from family, friends, classmates, and faculty. When you graduate, for those who are graduating in a few weeks and those who are graduating in a year or even more, you're going to move from this Lafayette community into other communities, joining perhaps a graduate program or entering a professional school or taking a job and becoming colleagues with people in the workplace. You're going to be joining those communities, professional communities, neighborhood communities, circles of friendship, and perhaps communities of parents or communities of faith. I want you to take what you've accomplished at Lafayette College and bring it to all of those relationships. You know what can be accomplished by individuals working in a supportive, caring environment where you challenge yourself and you challenge your friends. That's exactly the sort of thing you need to keep perpetuating in all the communities that you join after Lafayette College. If you do that, then you and your friends and your colleagues will continue to have amazing and transformative accomplishmits. And now I've got 3 bits of information to make sure that everything just goes smoothly for the rest of the afternoon. First, if you're on the Phi Beta Kappa list, your induction ceremony is going to be at 4:30 and Oxley 224. Second, I want everyone to join us for the reception that's being held indoors in the Bergathon room in Marquis. Aim that direction. And finally, just so that we can get to the Bergathon room to meet everybody, if you could all just remain seated until the stage party has been able to recess to the back of the chapel, that will make everything else go really smoothly. Thank you.